Today we're going to look at John 4:23. Yet a time is coming and has now come when the true worshippers will worship the Father in spirit and in truth. And they are the kind of worshippers the Father seeks.
Yeah.
Powerful scripture.
Yeah.
All of us know this so well.
Yeah.
What do you think? What do you think, Heidi?
I do love this scripture, but when it talks about here worshipping the Father in spirit and in truth, and I think worship is a spirit-to-spirit connection.
Yes.
It's not just worshipping from our mind or doing lip service or anything like that, but it's a spirit-to-spirit connection. But it's worship is with our whole being. We worship Him with our emotions. I know when I worship God, I use my emotions. It touches my soul. I was like bawling my eyes out. But it's that real spirit-to-spirit connection, and that's the kind of worship that God desires of us. And when we do that, we are transformed, we are changed, and we allow God to really touch our heart, and allow Him to love on us. It's just that that response is just to love on Him, and it's
And the fact, I think that, God's looking for, the verse is kind of saying God's looking for authentic praises. He's looking for authentic worshippers. And the whole thing of worshipping in spirit and in truth, we cannot access either of those other than through Jesus. And it just reminded me of that song, Jesus be the centre of it all. Jesus is the centre of it all. And it's like, without Jesus at the centre of our worship, without Jesus at the centre of it all, our worship just becomes a bunch of words with a nice meaning, and it doesn't attract anything of heaven there. But when worship that actually has Jesus at the centre of it, that grabs His attention every time. So it kind of all comes down to what place does Jesus hold in my heart that determines what kind of worshipper I'll be. So if He's at the centre of it all, it's in spirit and in truth. And that's the kind of worshipper God looks for.
Awesome.
You can go first. I just felt that some people as well might, in your worship, sometimes feel like it has to be so expressive to get the attention of God, but the expression is not to get His attention. He's looking for you, and in your worship, more so than you're pursuing Him, He's actually pursuing you. It says that the Father's seeking you, and in your worship you have the full attention of God the Father, and then that exuberant expression is then in response to that. So know that in your worship, God's there. He's got His eyes on you as you worship. You're not needing to get His attention. It's already on you.
Absolutely. And I think, when we worship, we're becoming like God. As we're in that place of worship, you feel the heartbeat of God. You feel, the things that He's feeling is almost like you become, almost like with Him kind of thing. And it says to worship Him in spirit and in truth. And we know that He is spirit, obviously. But He is truth as well. So right there, when you are worshiping Him, you get all the truth being downloaded to you. Because He says, I'm the way, the truth, and the life. So right there, you get all that you need at that very moment, because you're becoming like Him.
And I love the fact that this verse shows us what God's doing. He's seeking. And, just to know that that's part of His nature as well. He's looking for people. He's looking for worshippers. He's looking for truth. And so that the activity of the Father, wow, He's looking. So, okay, here I am. I love you. I worship you. And to have our worship that arrests His attention. I think that's one of the things we can do for God, is we can, there's not much we can do for Him, right? But we can worship Him. And that arrests His attention. So I love that. That's it for today. And so why don't you try that yourself to become a true worshipper in your spirit and in truth.